Hi, I'm Dr. Rose Valentine, grief therapist. I often work with people in mourning and hear beautiful stories of love. Tonight, I'll be sharing Emma's story with you, a heartfelt tale from a woman in Willowhaven. Let us begin. I've always loved everything about our town's annual festival. The colorful decorations, the lively music echoing through the streets, and the way it brings us all together. This year, I finally got the chance to be part of the planning committee. A dream come true for me. I envisioned spectacular performances, new attractions, and captivating displays that everyone would talk about for years. But then there was Thomas. Every idea I tossed onto the table seemed to land squarely into his zone of opposition. The minute I shared my thoughts on extending the festival into the evening with a night market, he shot it down, citing logistics and budgets in that brusque tone of his. It was as if he was determined to counterbalance every spark of my enthusiasm with a dose of practicality, and it was infuriating. Our initial disagreement had been over the festival's theme. I envisioned something bright and innovative, while Thomas clung to the old ways, preferring the traditional layout and attractions. I remember the exact moment I realized working with him would be a challenge. During a meeting, just as I was passionately sketching out my vision on the whiteboard, he interrupted, asserting that my ideas were unrealistic. At first, I thought he was just stubborn, but as the days passed, I began to wonder if there was more to it. Maybe he had his reasons tied to personal history or past experiences that he held close to his chest. Despite our clashes, there was no denying that Thomas was charismatic and driven. Still, his relentless adherence to his perspective stoked my frustration. Yet somewhere beneath the discord, I caught glimpses of respect, a grudging acknowledgement of his commitment to the festival, even if we couldn't agree on how to express that passion. So there we were, locked in our opposing corners, each seeking the best for the festival, yet unable to see eye to eye. Little did I know, our fiery exchanges were only laying the groundwork for something I wasn't prepared for, a shift in the very foundation of our enmity. The morning after our latest disagreement, an unexpected twist forced us into cooperation. The committee had announced that due to an unfortunate mix-up, Thomas and I would now lead the effort to choose the festival's headline performer. My heart dropped, wondering how we were ever going to agree on something so significant. Thomas and I exchanged a glance, our mutual reluctance evident. But it wasn't long before a moment of shared humor lightened the mood. As we sat in the cramped back room of the community center, Thomas recalled a story about a past festival when a performer showed up decked out for Halloween instead of the spring theme. Despite myself, I broke into laughter, and for the first time, a crack formed in the wall of tension between us. Over the next few days, we pored over artist profiles and debated pros and cons. To my surprise, I found myself appreciating Thomas's insights. Behind his rigid exterior was someone who knew the festival inside out, its history, its nuances, and what made it special to our community. During a late afternoon discussion, Thomas, his defenses momentarily down, shared why the festival mattered so much to him. It was a tradition that connected him to his family and childhood, a piece of himself that he fiercely protected. Listening to him, I realized our passionate disagreements pointed to shared values. We both cared deeply about the festival, though we expressed it in different ways. Our candid conversation brought a fresh perspective, and for a moment, it seemed we had turned a corner. We found common ground, settling on a performer we both believed would capture the spirit of our festival. But just as things appeared to be falling into place, an email notification chimed, delivering bad news. The performer was suddenly unavailable. My heart sank as I glanced at Thomas, wondering if the fragile cooperation we'd built would crumble under this new setback. The festival was looming just a few weeks away, and losing our headliner felt like a devastating blow. I could sense the mounting pressure, the weight of the festival's expectations heavy on our shoulders. Thomas and I were back at square one, scrambling to find a replacement. Times like these tested the very fabric of our newfound camaraderie. Despite the chaos, I noticed a change in our dynamic. Where once there might have been heated arguments, now there was collaboration and mutual respect. Sifting through suggestions and ideas, we worked late into the evenings, fueled by determination and the occasional takeout dinner. In those moments of shared struggle, something within me shifted. Over endless cups of coffee and careful deliberations, I saw Thomas in a different light, a light tinged with admiration and, unexpectedly, affection. In the 11th hour, we managed to secure a replacement, an artist new to the scene, brimming with talent and enthusiasm. As we finalized details and the festival day arrived, I reflected on our journey. What began as discord had evolved into something harmonious and unforeseen. The festival unfolded beautifully, each element synchronized, as if reflecting the newfound unity between Thomas and me. As we stood at the edge of the crowd, watching the performances under the golden glow of festival lights, I felt a sense of accomplishment and connection that transcended our early clashes. Thomas turned to me, a smile playing on his lips. "We make a pretty good team, Emma," he said, his words carrying more weight than I imagined possible. It was in that moment I realized that our combined vision had turned into something greater than us both. And as the music filled the air, hinting at perhaps a new beginning, I couldn't help but wonder what other harmonies awaited us in the future. That's the end of Emma's story. What are your thoughts? I'll be back tomorrow with more tales collected from my therapy sessions. Subscribe, and let's keep discovering together. And if you enjoyed, remember to like and comment.